Hello, brothers and sisters. Um, this is I don't really know what to talk about. Well, I guess I do. I just don't know how to talk about it. Um, we've been going through a lot of changes over the past umpteen dozen years. Uh, I remember back in 2010, I was down in Florida, and during the oil spill down in the Gulf of Mexico, um, you know, uh, we could tell back then that humans were really screwing this planet up, and then 2011 rolled around, and we had um, the tsunami that um, caused the Fukushima incident. Um, and as far as I know, we're still fighting, dealing with the oil in the Gulf of Mexico. We're still dealing with radiation being dumped in our environment, in our atmosphere, from Fukushima and other incidents. Um, I mean, the events that were going on pretty much told you that showed you the changes that was going on in the earth, and you know what we were doing to affect the earth and cause to amplify the changes. You know, the earth was bound to change. It's a living creature just like we are. We're pretty much nothing but parasites on its back. Um, so it's going through its own process of growth, change. If you want to call it evolution, you can call it whatever you want to. It's happening. It's been happening for a very long time. I mean, it's a constant thing. It's just the changes that are happening now or that started happening, or more noticeable. Um, they seem to pick up speed and such, and I'm sure that a lot of it has to do with what humans do to our environment. Um, but in 2012, um, you know, the, and and everybody was talking about that it was the end of the long count calendar, that Mayan calendar that was predicting the end of the world. Um, all that information was based off the Roman calendar, which is pretty much what our calendar is based off of, which is inaccurate. You know, but that's really beside the point. I noticed in 2012 that people were or I started noticing more people were becoming aware of what was going on. Not only just um, with the environment, with humanity, with the animals and stuff. And I've been through it. Went through a lot of trials and errors from 2012 to till now. I'm still going through all that. All of us are. But I'm just going to give you a little bit of kind of a timeline and how I feel about things. Nothing that I really remember, and anybody can call me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember anything drastically happening in 2012 as far as environmental changes or, catastrophes or whatever. I remember just a few months after the Fukushima incident happened, me and my wife moved back to Alabama from Florida, um, and a tornado hit just right after we moved back, um, and it destroyed a couple of towns up the road. It destroyed a community that just just a few miles over the road from me here. Um, it killed a family of people. I think it killed quite a few people. I think of the total um, people that it killed at the time was like 27 or something like that. It was Anyway, it killed a friend of mine that I went to school with. So it affected me. Of course, it did. During when the tornado was coming through, I can remember looking in the clouds and seeing debris in the air, like a floating tire and pieces of shingles, stuff like that, just random stuff. Um, but in 2012, I don't remember nothing like that. What I do remember is that I remember I remember making contacts with people through Facebook. Um, and Facebook was kind of young. I'd only been on there a few years, and um, I think I actually got on Facebook when it first started, or just a few months after it became popular. Uh, but in 2012, I remember contacting people, a lot of people, family members that I hadn't talked to since I was a kid, friends that I went to school with that I hadn't seen in 20 years, you know, meeting people that kind of seemed to have the same thought process as I did. Um, and there's a few of them that actually I learned a lot from. Um, um, you know, and it rocked on after 2012, 2013, 2014. I kept on meeting more people, and of course, you had to. I weeded out the good from the bad, or the bad from the good. Excuse me. Um, at least in my eye, what I seen, what I thought was good and bad. And of course, some people did pull the wool over my eyes a few times. There's some pretty good tricksters out there. Their glamour can definitely blind you to the fact that that's all it is glamour. The light that shines does not come from within; it's only a reflection. Um, but in 2016, come around. Well, let me back up. In 2015, we decided to go back to Florida. And in 2016, we were in Florida, and I decided to start spreading the word. So I started my ministry. I done what Spirit had been telling me to do for ever. Since I was probably about 14 or 15 years old. I started my ministry. But I still had my good and my bad. I was dealing with a lot of demons. Still deal with a lot of demons. You know, you can't always stay in the light. Sometimes you got to go into the darkness in order to spread the light to those that need the light. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of light workers are all about the light. the light, the light, the light. The beauty of the light. Well, there's those that are in the dark that need our help. You're doing no good just sitting there all smiley face and wearing rose-colored glasses. You got to get in the field and do the hard work if you're really a true light worker, because that's what a light worker does. They take the light into the darkness. 2016, let's see, I was attacked by what I call a dark magician. Um, Started my ministry. Um, I was led astray by somebody that I thought was a savior figure. I was faced with my own death in 2016. I'll tell you about that. I come down with prostatitis. I was sick for a long time, for several months. Thought I was going to die, and I went to the doctors, and they pretty much said that that I had cancer. And I didn't know that I was that sick. I'd been riding bicycle trails, and I thought I was in good health, and then all of a sudden, bam! I'm laying flat on my back. My private parts feel like they're about to explode. And it stayed that way for a very long time. For several months. And I kept my faith. I kept praying to my Father. I kept meditating, using all the meditation skills that I had been taught over the years. And I was definitely using a new meditation technique that somebody taught me, called visual meditation. And there's a certain type of visual meditation called star meditation. And it's where you visualize a star at the center of your heart, at your center. And you visualize the star growing bigger and bigger, and it helped. I think it did. I think the prayers, everything helped. But then, I still stayed sick. So I come back to Alabama. Um, I pretty much thought that that it was the end, that I was going to die. To come back to be with my family and make peace with my family, because I wanted to be buried on my ancestral homeland. I feel a big connection to this land, and I can't explain it to you. I'm an outsider to the communities around me, but I'm connected to the land. It's my home, and I can't explain that. Otherwise, what I just said. Anyway, I come home to basically die. Then a month or so rocked on, and um, a family member had begged me to go get another opinion, second opinion from another doctor here in Alabama. Um, so I did, and the report was that I had prostatitis, um, but it wasn't the kind of prostate. It wasn't the kind of prostatitis that causes that's cancerous. Um, so, in other words, either the doctors in Florida misdiagnosed me, or all the prayers and the meditations and the sheer force of will, excuse me, wouldn't let me die. I had a purpose to serve. And then the voice in my head come to me and said, do the job we told you to do or you're gonna die. And don't get me wrong, I'm not afraid of death. Not afraid of nobody. Not afraid of I'm not afraid of death. Why would I fear anything else? There are things that I'm leery of. I'm human. Give me a break. But I'm not afraid of nothing. But I know that I do have a purpose to be here, and I need to serve that purpose before I do take the big leap into the next life. And it rocked on, and um, since 2016, I've tried and strived as hard as I could to do my best to make the changes in the world. Um, I've talked to everybody, told everybody things, and maybe I've even been a bit obnoxious about it. Maybe I've forced my opinion on people. That never was my intentions. You can't really force nothing on nobody. They only accept it if they're willing to accept it. I never meant to force anything on anybody, my opinion or anything. That is not my purpose. That was not the purpose in the first place. I only wanted to in my own way show that everything is connected. You know, um, I wanted to be able to explain things to help people um, understand things a little bit easier. And if I ever gave you the impression I was um, trying to force anything on you, well then I'm sorry, you took it the wrong way. 2018 come around and I started my own business. It's just a small construction business. I don't make a lot of money. I don't charge a lot. That's the whole part of it is I don't understand why everybody charges so much money to do such a simple job, and then they do a shitty job at it. Excuse my language. I don't say much cuss words out of respect to people. But I got to noticing that I was having to teach everybody. If I worked for somebody else, I had to show them how to do their job, and I had to do my job. So, and so I started me a company. And the idea of my company was to make some changes in the way things are done. Number one, I don't charge an outrageous price. I'm not into it to get rich. I have to make a living. In this world, you got to make a dollar. But I'm not interested in getting rich. Hell, if I could do it for free, I would do it. If I had my bills paid and all that, I'd do it for free, without a question. But I wanted to turn it into something else. I really wanted to turn it into more like a nonprofit organization, so I could help people that didn't have the money, so I could help them live in a nice place too. Because look, everybody deserves what everybody else gets. Don't matter how educated you are, how much money you got, how pretty you are, any of that. None of that matters. We all deserve the same. Excuse me. We all bleed the same, we all breathe the same air. We're all stuck on this planet. Why can't one person have just as much comfort as anybody else? It's not fair that way. And, we got to start being fair with each other. But now we've reached year 2020. Beginning of the year started out with the coronavirus, and the world went freaking crazy. I ain't never seen such people fighting over toilet paper, dude. I go to the store to get toilet paper. Really? You really think that toilet paper's that big of a thing? Where in your brain did it register that toilet paper is going to save you from a respiratory disease or a respiratory virus, whatever the fuck it is? Y'all some dumb people. And look, we all know that this coronavirus thing is a sham. It's a freaking sham. And if you believe in that, then more power to you. You go ahead and you smother yourself with that mask. And here we are. It's almost, what is it? It's almost July. And let's see. Since the beginning of 2020, we got the coronavirus. We got Trump is at war with the deep state. They come up with this, this anachronium crap. some sort of adrenaline filled blood that these sick asses pull out of these children that they're scaring. Um, and then just all kinds of crap that's just been going on. And now, we got this race thing going on. Oh man, race. Okay, look, brothers and sisters, this race thing, it's a crock of crap. It really is. I mean, it's just another way for them trying to divide and conquer us. I mean, honestly, look, man. Okay, let me make an example. What color is my skin? I mean, you know, what color is it? Is it white? Well, that's definitely not. It looks more beige to me. You know, I mean, it really does. You know, this, see this right here? This color? This is white. See this right here? That's white. This, I'd say that's beige. I don't know. I mean, it's, it's weird. The point is that your race is not the color of your skin. You know, my descent, my ancestors. Let's see. I'm Nordic, Scotch Irish, Native American, and Hebrew. So, them are all races, you know. Um, there's no such thing as a white race. There's no such thing as a black race. You're African American. If you want to get more direct about it, maybe you're, you know, find out the tribes that you were from. That's what you are. That's your race. There's the tribes that you came from. The nationality that you came, or maybe nationality is the wrong word. Your ancestors, whatever they were, that's what you are. You're just a product of them. All your ancestors crammed into one being. Make your ancestors proud. I used to go to powwows and stuff, and I'd see these Native American people, and they would dress up in their feathers and their necklaces and leather and dresses and moccasins. Dude, that was cool. It really was. And with me, I got a few kilts. If you don't know what a kilt is, it's what the Scottish wore. And I wear them. I'm not afraid to wear my kilts. I wore them to work. Not really too fond of wearing them in public because I don't really like to draw attention to myself. Of course, I don't spend a whole lot of time in public anyway. Excuse me. But yeah, man. I mean, honestly, it ain't got nothing to do with race. What's going on? I mean, it really doesn't. You know, At the deep-seated cause, I would have to say it's a lack of compassion. A lack of compassion that causes lack of compassion within the teachers that are educating these people on how to conduct themselves. You know, big thing about police officers beating up and killing people. Well, look, honestly, they are a product of our civilization. You know, look, if you're a police officer and you think you got to pull your gun on me because you feel threatened, then honestly, you don't need to be a police officer because I don't have no gun. You know, I remember back in the day, a friend of mine, he got beat up by a bunch of cops in my hometown. He ended up suing them and he won. He got him a big settlement. Um, I remember one time walking down the road with my nail bag on my back, and this cop pulled over, turned his lights on, and bloop bloop, his siren. I was walking to work, dude. He jumps out. Where you going? To work. I'm late. My car broke down. I mean, come on, dude. We all got a hard life. You don't have to jump out and get in my face when I'm only trying to go make a living. I mean, you see my nail bag on my back. But I'm also going to tell you this little story. Um, One time I got in an argument with my boss, and I walked off the job, and I was kind of dumb about it because when I walked off the job, I was like 70 miles from home. Yeah. Um, anyway, didn't have a ride because I rode in to the job site with my boss. I walked about 15 miles, and this cop pulled up, offered me a ride. He took me all the way to the to um, his line of police jurisdiction, dropped me off, and told me to have a good day. You know, had my nail bag on my back whenever he picked me up. So it's just about attitude, man. There's no sense in having an attitude with anybody. We all having bad days. We all have stress on us. You know, and my African American brothers and sisters. I don't know. I don't know if y'all got the same problem. You know, us beige people got. Um, ain't nobody cares about nobody anymore. You know, come on. Y'all love each other, man. Pick up your brother. He's your brother. Help your sister. Feed your sister's kids. You know, don't try to make, don't try to, you know, I see this in everybody. It seems like those that are weak are taken advantage of by those that are strong. You know, and that's really, really a screwed up. It's totally backwards from the way it's supposed to be, man. I mean, it is. The strong ones are supposed to be picking up the weak ones and carrying them, you know. We're supposed to be loving each other, having compassion for each other, helping each other, you know, instead of robbing each other, you know, instead of only worrying about what you can get from your brother and your sister. Perhaps life would be better if you thought more about how you can give to your brother and sister. I hate that damn thing. Makes that noise all the time. Now we got all this stuff that's going on. These, you know, we got Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter. We all bleed the same, and we all got red blood. We all breathe the same air. We all put our pants on the same way. Gotta love each other. And I ain't talking about all the, oh, you know, sweet and kind type of love. I'm talking about the love that really makes a difference in people's lives. You know, look, you can talk to your blue in the face, but you ain't gonna help nobody with words. It's actions. It's what you do that makes the difference.